Well, right at the top of the hour, we thank you once again for allowing us into your space. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango, and let's get into the business of our news. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has urged African members of parliament to legislate for the Continental Free Trade Area, emphasizing that if Africa is to resist European policies to defend family, it must be prosperous and also have a common market. While opening the third African Regional Interparliamentary Conference at State House in Entebbe, Mr. Museveni said that African sovereignty cannot be achieved with economic and political fragmentation.
Uganda is hosting the third African Regional Interparliamentary Conference with emphasis put on promoting family, values and sovereignty. The President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, said spreading disorientation to the whole world is criminal. He questioned what people who make policies like giving sex education to children are looking for.
I appeal to you, now that you are here, all of you, and our lawyers are here, study that Samoa document. If it really contains all those things you are talking about, the reproductive rights, what have you, then we shall have to pull out from that nonsense. And tell the EU that we can't be part of that criminality. Because comprehensive sexual education, in the Bible, it says there is time for everything. When children are children, they should be learning about things of children. In the African tribes, when time for marriage comes, people are counseled about marriage. But to get a child and you start teaching her to be a woman or a man is really madness.
In order to protect families, President Museveni says Africa must strengthen economically and politically, attributing the arrogance of Europeans to the weaknesses which Africans suffer.
To defend the family, apart from stubbornness, say no, we have refused, tumekataa. In Swahili we say tumekataa, we have refused. We don't accept it. Okay, you have refused, but you are bankrupt. How will you refuse? In order to resist, we must be rich, we must be prosperous. And in order to be prosperous, we must have a common market. So, without a big market, the wealth creators are stifled. They try, but they can't easily grow. So you need to give them the big market of Africa, using your legislative power, using your political mobilization. We should all mobilize for a continental free trade area.
The conference aims at coming up with an African charter to promote family, values and sovereignty. The First Lady, Janet Katam Museveni, says the laws enacted by parliaments shape not only nations but generations.
May this conference mark a new era of collaboration among African legislatures to rise above external influences and restore what is inherently ours. We indeed need an African charter that speaks to our uniqueness, one that affirms our values, defends our families, and reduces our dependency on foreign nations to fund the core pillars of our societies.
The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, said despite blackmail, the Parliament of Uganda prioritized interests of the people when they passed the anti-homosexuality law.
Experienced this during the legislation against homosexuality. A combination of blackmail, sanctions, and manipulations did not only deter our spirit, we legislated into the best interests of our families and society. I want to commend all the members of Parliament for standing up and making sure we protect the family values.
Sharon Slater of Family Watch International appealed to President Museveni to support African countries fight sexual, social and imperialism of the West, citing Samoa Agreement and the AU Convention on Ending Violence Against Women and Girls, which she says are legal threats.
This brings in the triple content that is so toxic. It brings in abortion for reproductive choices. It brings in the LGBT, sexual orientation, gender identities. And it says that governments must provide the right to access the information and services to support these choices. How did this get into an AU document, and how did it get endorsed in a binding treaty?
Sexual rights, reproductive health, comprehensive sexuality education, sexual orientation, gender identity, all alien offending text.
The conference will also look at health sovereignty.
Professionals must be able and should be able to provide information that allows the persons to make an informed choice as to whether to take a vaccine or not. And once that decision is made, we are all expected to respect it, whether it is a yes or a no.
The three-day conference aims at coming up with an African charter to promote family, values and sovereignty. I'm Nafka Farida and Dan Lugema in Entebbe.
Well, thank you both. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has called on African nations to adopt clean and affordable electricity as a strategy to combat environmental degradation and catalyze socio-economic transformation. During a lecture of opportunity to the officers of Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College Senior Course 46 at State House Entebbe.
Resource care, otherwise known as the Dutch disease.
A group of Ghanaian Armed Forces Command and Staff College Senior Course 46 is currently in Uganda on a climate change, environment, security and development study tour. As part of the tour, the officers have held an engagement with the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Course here are members of Senior Course 46. Indeed, it is heartwarming to know that a lot of your 7 generals have passed through the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College.
I'm here to accompany the visiting delegation from the Fraternal African State of Ghana, Your Excellency, and specifically from the Ghana Senior Staff and Command College, who are here on a study tour under the theme climate change, environment security and development as a requirement for the fulfillment of their training program, Your Excellency.
In this meeting held at State House in Entebbe, President Museveni gave it to the visiting delegation that it is time for Africa to transition from traditional biomass fuels like firewood and charcoal to modern and clean energy sources. Citing environmental statistics, the President noted with concern that Uganda's annual water outflow to South Sudan through River Nile has dropped from 60 billion to 40 billion cubic meters since the 1960s, a decline he attributes partly to deforestation driven by cooking fuel needs.
Nations that tend to have natural resources.
President Museveni further linked the energy crisis to broader structural challenges in African economies. He also called for industrialization of the tropics, especially in river catchment areas like the Nile and Congo basins, to enable rational and efficient land use. Reflecting on Africa's post-independence political challenges, President Museveni warned against the politics of identity based on tribe, religion and gender and advocated for an ideology of common interest.
The politics of tribes, politics of religion, politics of gender chauvinism, looking down upon women. That was the dominant politics in Africa. If you take Nigeria, that was the big problem. Even Ghana we had quite a bit of
emphasized that prosperity cannot be achieved through foreign aid, but through production and market access.
In the 1930s, 30s, 40s, Nkrumah was already active. But for us, we came on the scene in the 1960s. And when we came, we found that politics of identity. Even here, it was the same story. You had a party for Catholics, a party for Protestants, a party for one of the tribes, the Baganda.
He explained the importance of vertical integration using Uganda's cotton and milk sectors as examples.
It seems prosperity comes from interdependence of the communities of Uganda. The interdependence, my tribe plus the tribes of other areas working together, selling to one another, that's what will create prosperity.
President Museveni also weighed in on the recent developments in West Africa, urging caution in political disagreements that could disrupt economic cooperation, urging that Africa's problems has for over time been ideological.
So the prosperity, so we said, what is the mission of leaders, political, even professional like you? What is their mission?
The visiting team was invited to study and adopt the NRM's 4 core principles: patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. On his part, Brigadier General Katemba gave a brief on the week-long study program for the group, which he said is aiming at equipping participants with best practices at the nexus of climate change, environmental protection, security, and development. Major John Otto is representing Ghana Armed Forces at this lecture.
Every year, we select a theme and visit African countries to research on the theme. This year, we are visiting 4 countries.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
A large number of Catholics Friday gathered to celebrate the new Pope in a mass held at Lubaga Cathedral in Kampala. In his remarks, the Archbishop of Kampala, Paul Semogere, thanked God for a quick process of getting a new Pope and urged Catholics across the world to listen to the Pope.
The Archbishop of Kampala, Paul Semogere, urged the Catholics worldwide to embrace the new Pope, referring to him as a shepherd in relation to the scripture in Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 15.
The Lord is always with us, guiding the church on which direction to take. In his encyclical, Pastoris Dabo Vobis, Saint Pope John Paul II quotes the words of Prophet Jeremiah, "I will give you shepherds after my own heart." So God is always there to give us shepherds like he did yesterday. Pope Leo XIV is now our chief shepherd. He is the vicar of Christ. He now has the keys to the kingdom and is the rock upon which Jesus built his church.
Among the activities that took place during the Mass was praying for the blessings for the new Pope, sharing the Eucharist, and joining some couples in holy matrimony.
It has been a blessing in our wedding ever since we started. We had so many challenges, but at least we have tried to overcome them, and we are so grateful for this day. It has been a double coincidence in a way that we have been celebrating, all welcoming the new Pope, but at the same time, we have been having our wedding today. We thank God.
Pope Leo XIV is expected to address a number of challenges, including high misuse of technology that is violating religious values.
The challenge of relativism, especially among young people buoyed by technology and the enthusiasm with which they are embracing technology, whether that technology will be infused with church values and community values, and therefore the young people will be able to blend what they love about technology with what the church teaches, and how they'll be able to rhyme their own interest with technology with the confusion the elders are facing with technology without necessarily eroding the teachings of the church. For me, those are very critical.
The Holy Mass at Lubaga Cathedral follows the selection of the new Pope, Leo XIV, after the death of Pope Francis, who passed away on April 21st, 2025. Winnie Ainembabazi Katwire and Kalisha Stephen for UBC.
The Patriotic League of Uganda PLU has organized UPDF-CDF inter-forces drills competitions aimed to strengthen the military police and civilian relationship. The general purpose is to change the image of the military among local population.
As part of the efforts to improve the relationship between the police, military and civilians, the leaders of the Patriotic League of Uganda, PLU, led by General Kainerugaba, have come up with a plan to strengthen relationships through drills competitions.
Patriots Club Uganda is pleased to announce an upcoming military drill competition designed to enhance national security preparedness and foster unity between civilians and armed forces.
The UPDF-CDF Interforces Drills competitions will be launched on the 13th of May 2025 at the Kolo Ceremonial Grounds. On this day, the military will train people on how to defend themselves and demonstrate various techniques used to foil enemy attack. Officials reminded citizens that while working tirelessly to improve the relationship, they should also protect the environment.
But the military is not for only the ruling government or for the opposition, it is for all Ugandans. If it were otherwise, then there would be a selective way of inviting the people that are going to take part in this function that is being organized by the Ministry of Defense and the Office of the CDF. So that is one step. The CDF, General Kainerugaba, is trying to bridge the gap between the civilians and the military, what we call civil-military cooperation. And that is one of the reasons why such an event has been opened up to the public, including the opposition.
They have shared some of the expectations if Ugandans get interested and involved in the UPDF-CDF Interforces Drills competitions.
We expect food drills, we expect cane drills, we should expect a lot. They're going to compete in different skills. So let's all come and witness history making, led by the Chief Defense Forces, General Kainerugaba.
Rebecca Nantongo, Anthony Senabulia, UBC News.
Now, the Kingdom of Kochi is set to celebrate the 21st coronation anniversary of His Royal Highness Akamswaga Apollo Sana Akabumboli II on May 15th, 2025 at Akachera Sub-County in Rakai District. The milestone marks over 2 decades of dedicated leadership, cultural revival, and community development.
15th May of this month, it will be Thursday. We are going to celebrate the coronation anniversary. That will be the 21st coronation anniversary of His Highness Kamuswaga of Kochi. This period, we are looking backward and we are focusing on the achievements. We are celebrating the achievements which have been done since the 2004 up to now.
Many achievements have been made, including education. So many pupils, students have been helped to go to school, to universities, to institutions. So many schools have been built, and others have been assisted to be built. And now in the health sector, we have international Operation International, which involves our colleagues, our friends from America. They will be there. During that week, there will be many activities in that 1 week, including tree planting, like you have heard, including those major operations on all people that deserve that operation at no cost on the side of the patients. So we invite you all to avoid politics, propaganda into these things. Let us embrace development, let us embrace togetherness, let us embrace culture, let us embrace humanity.
Now, Buganda Kingdom and Miracle Center Cathedral Church patron Pastor Robert Kayanja have entered a partnership to rehabilitate Kabaka's Lake as well as develop the surrounding areas. This confirmation was made by the Buganda Minister for Culture, Traditional Affairs and Tourism, Anthony Wamala, at Bulange Mengo.
The Kabaka's Lake, located in Ndeba-Lubaga division in Kampala City, is the largest man-made lake in Uganda. The lake covers an area of over 67 acres and is located between Iringa and Nabunya roads. According to history, the Kabaka's Lake was built between 1885 and 1888 by the people of Buganda for their King Mwanga II to sail by boat to connect to other parts of Lake Victoria. However, over the years, the lake has lost its glory, as many people have encroached on it, hence degrading its surroundings.
Wakabaka bwa Buganda n'emikwano gyabwo gitunuulidde era gimanyi ebizibu ebiri ku nnyanja ya Kabaka. Enteekateeka zitutte ebbanga ggwanvuko okuba nti waliwo ekirabibwako ekikolebwa, naye emabega eyo wabaddeyo bingi ebitambula.
The deterioration of the lake, which has affected its image and significance, is evident with the mud, heaps of rubbish and soil flowing into it from the neighborhood. However, a committee was selected to take lead in the rehabilitation of Kabaka's Lake, as well as develop its surroundings. Pastor Robert Kayanja of Miracle Center Cathedral Rubaga, one of the brains that initiated the idea, has paid a courtesy visit to the kingdom's headquarters at Bulange Mengo. Here, he met with the kingdom's Minister for Culture, Traditional Affairs and Tourism, Anthony Wamala, the Kabaka's Lake Rehabilitation Committee Team Chairman Freeman Chiyimba, officials of the kingdom and other dignitaries in a closed-door meeting. Later, Minister Wamala elaborated on the meeting.
N'olukiiko olwetabiddwamu n'omusumba Kayanja wa Miracle Center, ng'olukiiko luno lwe lwakwasibwa omulimu ogw'okulaba ng'ennyanja ya Kabaka ekuumibwa mu kitiibwa. Tutemye empenda ez'okulaba butya emirimu gino bwe gitambula. Abayitawo ennaku zino mulaba nti omulimu gw'okuddaabiriza ennyanja oba ogw'okugitaasa gugenda maaso. Omusumba Kayanja atukoze bulungi nnyo. Yatandikirawo mulaba asimba ebitoogo okutaasa ennyanja ya Kabaka, era mangu ddala tugenda kutongoza, tugenda kubaawo mu butongole tutongoze omulimu guno ogw'okutaasa ennyanja ya Kabaka. N'emirimu emirala nga bwe gigenda okutambula tujja kugibanjulira.
He thus warned illegal occupants of the land to vacate.
Pulaani zaakolebwa, ettaka ly'ennyanja lyonna lyayerulwa, lisenzeddwako abantu bangi abeesenzezzaako, naye ng'enteekateeka weeziri ez'okutaasa ennyanja ya Kabaka n'okulaba nga tugizaayo mu kitiibwa kyayo.
The Lake's Rehabilitation Committee Chairman Freeman Chiyimba says the initiative was long overdue.
Era kyatutwalira emyezi 8 okuba pulaani eyo. Pulaani eyo kyenjagala okutegeeza abantu ba Ssaabasajja, kabineti yagiyisa era netwalibwa ne wa Ssaabasajja Kabaka naye n'agiyisa. Ebaddewo okuva olwo nga tukyasala magezi okulaba ngeri ki gye tuyinza okukulaakulanyamu ekifo ekyo, kubanga ekifo ekyo kyonna awamu kiri ku ekazi ezisukka mu 67. Ennyanja nga kweri n'ettaka eryo lye twasobola okubeera nga tupunta.
Pastor Kayanja cited how vital Kabaka's Lake is.
Honored to participate in desilting and cleansing our environment. This lake is what's going to save the city, because we have no hydrants of water, we have no other water source to really make sure that if fire guts the city, you know, we are surrounded with petrol stations. So if the fire starts in one part of the city, with a windy city, Kampala is a windy city, fire will spread like a wildfire, you know, like always. And with the lake is the only source of our salvation. But also it's a place of tourism.
Kabaka's Lake, which occupies an area of 2 square kilometers and about 200 feet deep, was constructed by 52 Uganda clans. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
Thank you very much there, Ivan Juko. Now, Makerere University College of Veterinary Medicine, alongside 10 other universities, have disseminated the Prepare for VBD project in a bid to curb the transmission of the vector-borne diseases from animals to humans.
The Prepare for Vector-Borne Diseases project is a multidisciplinary consortium that unites university and ministerial partners to address the growing threat of zoonotic vector-borne diseases in a rapidly changing global environment.
We're both collecting data about where these diseases are distributed, both in Africa and in Europe, because we want to fill the data gaps. We are looking into how they are impacted by temperature, by climate changes, because with climate change, both these vector groups, these animals, these small insects, they are very sensitive to these changes, so that makes them move. If it becomes too warm in an area, they will start moving towards cooler areas. And this is what we are seeing also in Europe now, that we are getting new diseases that we did not previously have.
According to Anna Sophie Stensgaard from the University of Copenhagen, Denmark, the 5-year project focuses on small vectors such as mosquitoes, ticks and freshwater snails, which are known to transmit diseases from animals to humans.
So we have focused in our project on 3 groups of vectors. These are the small insects that can transmit diseases to animals and humans. We focused on mosquitoes that can transmit Rift Valley fever. That's one of the diseases we've been looking into. Developing outbreak models so we can detect when we have outbreaks of this viral infection, Rift Valley fever.
But we also have other vectors like snails. Many people are not very familiar, but snails are intermediate hosts for several parasites like schistosomiasis that causes serious diseases in humans. Even when we talk about mosquitoes, mosquitoes are vectors for several different parasites, including malaria that affects humans, but also other parasites that affect other animals, especially like Rift Valley fever.
A key component of the project is the development of innovative tools to detect these diseases early, making them easier to combat.
We've got molecular detection tools developed, environmental DNA to take samples from the environment to find these diseases, even when they are there in only very small numbers. We are also developing models that where we use climate data as input and the knowledge that we react to temperature changes.
Professor Lawrence Mugisha from Makerere University College of Veterinary Medicine highlights the timeliness of this initiative, particularly in Uganda's cattle corridor, where vector-borne diseases pose a significant challenge.
Uganda, being a tropical country, is prone to several vectors and vector-borne diseases. We have abundance of vectors that transmit a lot of diseases, especially ticks. Ticks are vectors of several diseases that affect our livestock, including East Coast fever, naproxmosis, babesiosis, cowardiosis, and so many. And these diseases have caused a huge burden to livestock farmers in this country and has affected the growth of livestock in this country.
With a proactive approach, the Prepare for Vector-Borne Disease project is set to enhance disease surveillance and preparedness, ensuring better health outcomes for both animals and humans. Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Now, Huawei technologists have partnered with Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, UBC, to devise strategies for providing cutting-edge technological solutions aimed at enhancing the newsroom capacity in news gathering, delivery and storage. Let's see more in this report.
Today is to celebrate the International Labour Day with you. We understand on Labour Day, as everyone else is at home, relaxing, the newsroom is still quite busy. And also on top of that, it's an opportunity for us to strengthen the relationship between Huawei and UBC. Just like Osomiri had hinted on, it's also an opportunity for us to engage and network.
Questions, because it also keeps us thinking on how we can make this partnership even better. But for us, one thing we're really grateful for is the way you cover us, and you've been very positive to us over the years, so we do not take that for granted. That is why we do appreciate UBC.
Elections here are very tricky because we travel, we move, we have to send stories, we have to capture stories. So I don't know how we can cooperate in this area, because in that kind of situation we need good phones.
The news bureau managers mentioned the phones that can almost do what a live unit can do, broadcast live. You are going into elections. Those are the things we have to discuss.
But then we will send the stories to our country radio stations. So we have a wide network. Our obligation is to ensure that news is covered in all the 146 or 52 districts. So it's a daily obligation.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Capote Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Capote deal and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Capote Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
Ennaku ssatu ez'omuziki enseko n'okuzuula nga weetooloddwa obulungi bw'obutonde nga kw'otadde n'abayimbi abasingayo mu Africa. Zina ate onyumirwa obulamu mu kujaguza obuwangwa bwa Africa obujjuvu ng'obutonde bwe bukuza obujja. Tukwaniriza mu Milege. Jaguzanga bw'onyumirwa obulamu omuziki, sinema, ebyokulya, engero n'emboozi. Milege World Music Festival 2025 okuvanga mukaaga paka nga 8 mu mwezi gw'omukaaga ku Botanical Gardens Entebbe. Okugula tiketi nyiga *5*2*2 londako Milege World Music Festival 2025 ogoberere endagiriro. Oba kuba ku noti 752-833-MMM oba tukyalire ku website yaffe www.milege.org. Biwagiddwa Entebbe Municipal Council, Uganda Wildlife Education Center, Uganda Wildlife Authority, Civil Aviation Authority, Uganda Tourism Board, Rock Telcom, Ovidian Uganda, 106.5 Energy Radio, Protea Hotel Entebbe, and UBC.
Amazina ganje Nyetekwase Ruhanga John Bosco ninduga mu district ya Rukungiri byo muhanguzi wa miliyoni 16 na Uganda National Rotary nzahangwire urwo mu kuzana *278# ngafuna message erikweka mu byo muhanguzi nashemererwa konka nabaza kugira ngo neri y'abafere sente ziriyo zona bakaziteka ko nazihangwire.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
We used to run, but most of the time we were running away from something. But nowadays, everything seems different. People still run, but they are running towards something. They run to test their limits, to break new records. And when we do it right, we inspire others.
The inaugural Coffee Marathon, uplifting rural coffee women, 24th May at Africa Coffee Park, Ntungamo.
Come, let us run.
To register, dial *217*413#. Choose option 4. Or scan the event QR code or visit the website to choose the race options. Brought to you by Inspire Africa Group.
Welcome back, and now into our next segment. A group of entrepreneurs in Uganda have established the Federation of Uganda Social Entrepreneurs to enhance the support and development of social enterprises in the country. Let's hear more in this report.
Social enterprises in Uganda encounter significant challenges that hinder their ability to achieve social objectives, particularly due to funding constraints. Social enterprises encounter difficulties in achieving a balance between their social missions and economic goals.
I would say that there is hope that maybe social entrepreneurs would actually get the support they've been yearning for, especially for early startups, because when you look at our ecosystem, most of our social enterprises actually fail as early as they start. So we hope that with the Federation being on board, maybe there's that change coming where social entrepreneurs can actually thrive, strive, and also support and contribute to growing Uganda's economy.
To remedy the situation, a Federation of Uganda Social Entrepreneurs has been launched. According to the brains behind this initiative, the Federation of Uganda Social Entrepreneurs is to serve as a primary gateway for social enterprises nationwide.
Policy that supports social enterprises, that can guide and streamline the work of social enterprises in Uganda. Secondly, it's about standardization or certification. Social enterprises struggle with the certificates and approving their products, which is hindering them to access market both locally and internationally. That's another challenge that we want to address. Thirdly, we are going to create a register or a registry and a database for social enterprises in Uganda. As of now, if you are looking for social enterprises in the country, there's nowhere you can go and find them. But with the FUSE, we are creating a registry or a directory where people in and out of the country can go and search for a social enterprise in every sector across the country.
Describing this as a timely intervention, the Chief Executive Officer of the Presidential CEO Forum, Irene Birungi Mugisha, lauded Mugerwa and his team for volunteering to streamline the sector.
Of course, today we've seen a magnificent but a good milestone of a group of the young generation who have always had ideas or have businesses that are adding value to the economic development of this country. But what they've done today is come together in real time to ensure that now they have one voice, they have one space of operation, but also a space where they can continuously be able to improve on the challenges. But improving means how can they be able to advocate for the issues that impact their businesses.
The launch attracted over 160 domestic social enterprises alongside social entrepreneurs, investors, policymakers and development partners. Adia Nakuti, UBC.
Now, the IBH Initiative for Better Health is launching a campaign to raise 1 billion shillings to combat HIV/AIDS in Uganda. The initiative aims to support the president's goal of curbing the spread of HIV by 2030.
The 1,000 shillings campaign aims to raise 1 billion shillings through a 1,000 shillings donation from each contributor. The campaign was launched at Piato Restaurant with representatives from the civil society, music industry and media fraternity in attendance. The coordinator of the Uganda AIDS Commission, Mr. Tom Etai, officially launched the campaign. The initiative plans to use sports, particularly marathons, to raise awareness about HIV/AIDS. The first marathon, Empumo Marathon, was held last year, and this year's event, Bushenyi Marathon, is scheduled for November 23rd. Dr. Lydia Mungherera, a doctor and advocate, explained how the impact of foreign aid has affected persons living with AIDS in Uganda.
We have decided to sit together and discuss integration of services. And integration of services meaning that, we bring all services, we come up with one work frame, which means we'll have one, we do budgeting together, we'll have one monitoring evaluation plan, we have one work plan to work together.
The brand ambassador of this campaign, Omega 256, has encouraged citizens to contribute to help make Uganda a better place.
We have friends that we don't know their statuses, we don't know why they are battling, we don't know. So this could be something that our friends are battling, that our families are battling, and we don't know about it. But with this, I hope and I pray that it will bring up a change.
The campaigns focus on community involvement. Sports and awareness-raising efforts can help mobilize support and resources to combat HIV/AIDS in Uganda. Cayenne Faith, Marshall Mirror, for ABC.
Makerere University students and staff have been urged to develop solutions that benefit Uganda and its people as a way of promoting patriotism, spirit in communities. The call was made by the chief coordinator of the Patriotic League of Uganda, PLU, Juma Wetonze, during the Makerere PLU Staff Chapter Symposium at Makerere University.
During the Patriotism Symposium held at Makerere University, Patriotic League of Uganda Chief Coordinator Juma Wetonze urged students to embrace practical skills gained and actively contribute to the nation's development.
Let our students here first love their country, respect their leaders, and again put in action what they have learned from school, because the world there is waiting for them with two hands.
Dr. Frank Nyakahuma, PLU mobilizer, encouraged students to embrace ICT in leveraging the opportunities of digital era to drive progress.
Thank President Museveni through the Presidential Advisor Pastor Mbabazi, the Office of Tim Thara, for giving us a huge number of students to come and skill in ICT. So far we have trained 7,000 youth in ICT. Some of them have been able to get jobs through our certificates, and we believe we want now to mobilize the entire country of Uganda to have all youth trained in ICT so that we can be able to reduce unemployment, which is the biggest problem in Uganda.
Coach Gad Eteu also emphasized the need for Ugandans to paint a clear picture of their nation towards the country's economic development.
Prepare ourselves, to be able to be good citizens, but also citizens that help promote development as a whole, right?
The Makerere PLU Staff Chapter Symposium was held under the theme Consolidating Our Gains Through Academic Industry Convergence. Charity Marion Imnat and Viola Nabasa for UBC News.
Government, in partnership with Pilgrim Africa, has initiated a one-year indoor residue spraying campaign targeting 75 government-aided private primary schools in Amoria district.
Private institutions are set to benefit from the one-year residue spraying campaign aimed at fighting mosquito-borne malaria in schools. This exercise will be carried out by the Ministry of Health in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, local district authorities, and Pilgrim Africa. Uganda is a significant contributor to global malaria cases, particularly in the eastern and northern regions of the country, affecting over 40% of the population. He emphasized the importance of the fight to eliminate malaria and other neglected tropical diseases, especially in learning institutions.
So we need a concerted effort to fight malaria with many tools. We need all the tools available to get rid of malaria. Don't go and say that now that they are going to spray in the schools, I no longer need to use the nets at home.
So therefore, we as members of parliament must make sure that we put effort in all the countries to make sure that we raise enough domestic resources to support and to fill the gap that has been withdrawn by the executive order.
The Assistant Commissioner in charge of Health Services, Jimmy Opigo, stressed the need for parents to always prioritize medical checkups for their children before they report back to school.
So schools already require that as parents, we test our children, they go for medical checkup before we take them back to boarding. But you know what we do. We pay a health worker to sign a fake medical certificate. And the children go and fall sick in school. This is the first thing we should correct. Where they cannot, we have agreed with our health facilities that if teachers bring children to school, to the health facility, they should not be in a line. They should be taken straight away to see the doctor. They are tested, treated, and they return to continue with learning.
Amuria District Health Officer Godfrey Opolot also noted the significance of the initiative in reducing the malaria burden.
We've never had an IRS program in the district. This is the first one of its kind in the district, and that's why we are glad to welcome it. We have a burden of 40% of positivity in our facilities.
And malaria is responsible for a number of deaths in Amuria, but also a number of miscarriages of pregnant women. I want to thank so much Pilgrim Africa for really intervening in this area. As a local government, we do not have this budget, we do not have this money, and by doing this, we are really going to reduce numbers of malaria cases in Amuria.
Amuria district serves a population of 551,000, which relies on the general hospital. The available 10 health center 3s are also currently facing a funding challenge, which has forced locals to trek for long distances.
Yes.
Now, education in the rural areas of Busoga continues to face serious challenges, with many students consistently failing final examinations. Last year, most schools failed to pass their students who performed very poorly, and this has compelled leaders from Busoga to partner with the Ministry of Education to find solutions.
As a result, Busoga Education Initiative is aimed at supporting schools, particularly those struggling to achieve good student performance.
And when I was still a minister in charge of primary education, one of the things I noted was that the Eastern region was performing so poorly. And my question was always why? And I discovered that Busoga as a sub-region was contributing to the poor performance of the Eastern region. So I realized with Mama that we had to do something to change the image of Busoga. Busoga has got many big people in government. So we had to bring them on board to ensure that we come up with some kind of initiative. And that is the creation of Busoga Education Initiative.
Dr. Rosemary Seninde started the Busoga Education Initiative, which led to a 5-day head teachers retreat at Viva College in Jinja.
That has helped these schools that we identified. We have tried to come up with so many initiatives that have helped improve those schools. And as we speak, schools that had never dreamt that they would ever get a first grade at primary level education, PLE, are now getting first grades. That is a great achievement. And I want to appreciate the Busoga Education Initiative and its leadership, because people from Busoga are running this initiative.
Busoga has 1,143 government primary schools, but many perform poorly each year. PLE results show that schools in the region often rank among the worst. Over 1,000 teachers participated in the retreat, which aimed to train them on strategies of improving student performance.
Naye kati inspector w'amasomero omulambuzi w'amasomero mu Uganda yonna oba mu district oyinza okulaba nti ayinza okubeera bw'omu bw'ati. Kati agendayo luno n'agendayo naluli n'alaba ebigenda mu maaso mpolampola bw'atyo. Naye ekyenjagala okuteekako essira kiri bwe kiti era mumpulirize bulungi bannayuganda. Omulambuzi w'essomero asooka oba inspector asooka ye mukulu w'essomero. So oyo omukulu w'essomero yo inspector asooka, kati oyo alina okukolera ddala n'amaanyi okulaba nti ebintu bitambula bulungi. Era kati alipotinga gye tuli n'atugamba bino nabiri, kati ye bw'aba tafuddeeyo nga yeesuuliddeyo gwa naggamba ebintu bidda kuba nga tebitambula bulungi.
Dr. Rose Badassa Nachireza, a lecturer at Uganda Christian University, Mbale campus and key planner of the initiative, pointed out some of the worst performing schools.
Kagogwa, that time mu 2017, ly'essomero lyasembera ddala mu Uganda nga terinayo mwana wa first grade, terinayo mwana wa second, terinayo wa third, nga lirina wa fourth and the ungraded percentage yasenga obunene. Kati we twogerera wano Kagogwa liri erimu ku ssomero erisomesa obulungi era li competinga mu masomero lisobola n'okufuna osobola okulaba nga first grade zituuse like 15, which was not heard of.
In 2017, the education situation in Busoga was its worst, with over 150 schools performing very poorly. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now, in a bid to reduce the rampant road accidents that have been happening in Uganda for the past months, bus drivers have formed an umbrella body to help train their drivers into better road managers. Among the issues discussed at the Federation opening was the process of drivers' recruitment to be cautiously looked at.
Officials from the Federation of Bus Drivers point out the need to thoroughly train each and every driver within their federation for the safety of passengers and other road users.
We have come to bring to an end road crashes, especially in the bus sector. That's number one cardinal role we are going to do. Secondly, we are here to improve on bus drivers' standard and service delivery.
That means that's the element of awareness training and the COV2. We pledge that commitment together with the Ministry of Labour that we shall do the needful. You are just starting a journey of 1,000 miles. You start with one step. So this step is recommendable. That this is a good gesture, and you'll be there.
They note that it's vital to deal with the issue of road accidents, starting from the core point, which is drivers' recruitment.
If you are solving such issues, you have to start from the genesis. You don't just come and blame the driver or the bus driver that they are killing people, as I heard someone saying like that. There is no driver who comes from home, goes to the road to go and kill people. But there are some factors, and we know those factors.
However, the drivers attribute the recent YY bus accident to terrible roads.
How comes that the main roads like Jinja-Kampala Highway, which connects to Malaba and Busia border, which has so many traffic, the road is bad and impassable. And people have been talking about YY bus which got an accident. But let us ask ourselves, where did that bus get the accident from? From Katosi Road. That was just an alternative route. The bus is issued with a route chart, and the route chart indicates where the bus is supposed to pass, the road it's supposed to use. That bus was supposed to pass via Lugazi, Mabila Forest, then connect to Jinja. But because the road is impassable, that's why we were passing that side, and that road is not supposed to be used by buses.
Uganda Police Force Annual Crime Report 2024 analysis of road crashes by day of the week shows that Sundays had the highest number of accidents. Mario Nawori and Viola Nansupuga for UBC.
Me and
Tecno and MTN. Together, our flash snap is unstoppable. Grab the Tecno Camon 40 series and get free 9 GB of MTN data, valid for 3 months. Don't wait. Get your Tecno Camon 40 today at Tecno stores and MTN outlets. MTN is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
I'd like to thank all our clients, our valued taxpayers, the people that we serve as we collect revenue for building our nation. I thank you very much for the questions you have sent through this program of Buza Commissioner. On behalf of URA, I would like to pledge that we are committed and we will continue to answer all the questions that you ask through this platform. The whole purpose for this program is to ensure that your pain points, your questions are efficiently responded to. So I would like to encourage all our taxpayers who have questions to ask to please utilize this program that we are running on UBC, that will be receiving your questions through the numbers that you've been given, and URA will be available to answer these questions every Monday and every Wednesday during the 8 o'clock news bulletin. And then on Sunday, after the news, we'll have a full response to all the questions that will have come in during the week. I thank UBC for supporting us in reaching our taxpayers, and I thank our taxpayers for responding positively to this program. Thank you very much.
Buza Commissioner.
And into the world of business, the State Minister for Luweero Rwenzori Triangle, Alice Kaboyo, has urged children of veterans to shift focus from the past and engage in government programs aimed to fight poverty. Let's hear more in this report.
The State Minister for Luweero Triangle, Alice Kaboyo, has emphasized the importance of economic empowerment through agriculture. She was handing over coffee seedlings to residents in Kalasa Makulubita sub-county in Luweero district.
If they have that and they also have an acre of coffee and they have maybe poultry on the side, the wife is doing this, the man is doing the other, that family can never go hungry or be poor.
Beneficiaries pledged to plant and nurture the seedlings to increase productivity.
I want to pledge on behalf of others, we shall plant and look after seedlings to yield good results.
On the same occasion, the minister also presided over a graduation ceremony of more than 600 individuals trained in financial literacy under the Kalume Foundation.
I'm encouraging the people of Luweero and other areas to study, to be skilled. If you get an opportunity like this one, please, because not very many people know this financial literacy. Not all of us have it.
The foundation's executive director, Haj Abubakar Kalume, explained that the initiative aims to empower local communities through savings, credit, investment, and cooperative education.
We realized that the problem was only one, because they have been giving money without education. We have provided education. And I want to assure you, as we talk right now, there is a very big change from those people whom we started with. We started from Wobulenza and Katikam, over 600 people were graduated, and as you have also seen this. And we are continuing, we are not stopping here, because we have realized that people are changing their lives. If somebody gets 1 million from PDM right now, he knows how to use that money instead of buying a Gomez, instead of buying meat or going to the bar.
Graduates reported that the training had significantly improved their financial decision-making skills.
We have learned how to manage and save money. I thank Kalume Foundation for this initiative.
I commend Kalume for the initiative and promise to put in practice what I have learned.
Brian Tumwinebya Ruhanga, Andrew Sebira.
Now, before we sign out, let's delve a bit into the sports, where Uganda's Secondary School Sports Association, USA Bowl Games, have been officially opened at Bukedia Stadium, as we hear more in this report.
A director at the Parliamentary Commission, Dr. Augustine Mugabo, has encouraged students across the country to appreciate sports.
Many head teachers do not prioritize sports, and those who have given you opportunities, it would be unfair if we don't thank them.
He was representing the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, at the 2025 Uganda Secondary School Sports Association Ball Game that has been officially kicked off at Bukedia Stadium. The Commissioner for Physical Education and Sports, Reverend Canon Dr. Duncan Mugumya, commended President Museveni for maintaining peace, enabling the organization of such national events.
The Ministry of Education and Sports targets to make sure that there is sports and education for all is what we are trying to achieve, the reason we have all those activities taking place.
He also applauded the Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Janet Museveni, and the State Minister for Sports, Honorable Peter Ogwang, for their dedication to sports development.
Those who qualify from districts are supported financially to go to zones up to national, East Africa, Africa, and world.
USA President Justus Mugisha praised the host school for mobilizing the highest ever number of participants.
And the days when our games would be full of mercenaries, we have worked with the Ministry of Education to make sure that we only have students.
The Uganda Secondary School Sports Association Games includes girls football, rugby 15th, hockey, lawn tennis, table tennis, netball under 16, volleyball under 16, and badminton. The competitions will run until 14th May. Nabachibi Doreen Malaika, UBC News.
Well, that's it from us. Thank you so much for being with us. My name is Patricia Lukoma from the entire news team. It's a good night, but UBC TV continues. Bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.